Hello my friends, hello my besties, welcome back to my channel. My name is Alexis and welcome to a new reading vlog. I have not done one of these reading vlogs in I guess at least a year, if not more. That is this book worth the hype? And today we're going to be seeing if Spark of the Everflame by Ben Cole is worth the hype. So what I know about this book is from what I've seen online, I think it was independently published and then eventually picked up by a publisher, and now the first 3 books are traditionally published and the 4th is not out yet. It is a romantasy series and that's about all I really know about it. The publisher has been so kindly sending me copies as each book has been coming out in the republished format. And today I was looking at my bookshelves and realized I had all 3 books and hadn't read a single one. So I decided I'm gonna finally pick it up and we're gonna see what the hype is about together. So let's start with the synopsis. Book 1, Spark of the Everflame. First of all, shout out to the edge pages, gorgeous. An immortal world colonized by the gods and ruled over by the descended, their cruel magical wielding offspring. DM yearns to escape the insular life of her poor village. Her mother's sudden disappearance and the discovery of a dangerous secret about her past offered DM an unexpected opportunity to enter the dark world of the descended royalty and unlock the web of mysteries her mother left behind. With the dying king's handsome, enigmatic heir watching her every move and a ruthless rebel alliance recruiting her to join the growing civil war, DM will have to navigate the unwritten rules of love, power, and politics in order to save her family and all of mortal kind. It says that this edition too apparently has a bonus chapter from a different character's point of view. I've not started this yet, but I'm going to start it and we're going to go through and decide if this book is worth the hype that has been getting online, because it's been highly hyped up by a lot of my mutuals and been all over my For You page recently. Hi, hello. I'm a little bit embarrassed to admit that it has been a week since we last spoke. I know, this is not how I usually like to do my vlog. In my defense, I started a new job last week, which is incredibly exciting, but also very time consuming, especially getting situated. I thought filming a reading vlog was gonna be a good idea. Beyond me, who knows? But now things are a little more settled down, let's keep talking about Spark of the Everflame and we're gonna get to the bottom of this is worth the hype or not. I'm currently about 200 pages in. I'm on chapter 19. And let's talk about first, okay, things that I like first. This book is a little more slice of life than I expected. I had different expectations for what this book was going to be than what it is, because I've seen things online, so I know a bit of what direction the story is gonna go. So I thought the pacing would be different than it is, but I kind of like it. I like that we're getting so many details about DM and her day-to-day life and the unraveling mysteries that are slowly falling apart. I can't say very much about it because obviously spoilers, but there's lots of little mystery elements going on and secrets being kept, and I really enjoy the pacing and how we're getting to know this character so intimately. Obviously she's the main character of this massive fantasy saga, so it's been very nice to get to understand her on such an intimate level, on like her just day-to-day interactions with the people around her. I also really like what the mystery elements are. Again, I cannot say what they are. Spoilers, I'm trying to be polite. But in the synopsis, it does mention that her mother goes missing and that she is learning to grapple with power and love and the handsome prince in the castle. And so far, I really like the different mystery elements and I am just itching to know the answers. There are some things that I feel are somewhat obvious with the mysteries, but I can tell there's gonna be more. And I've been told by my peers that even when you think you know what's gonna happen, you kind of do, but there's usually something else going on too that you're not gonna expect. So like it's kind of predictable, but kind of not. And I can very much see that. I think if you read this book and you have common sense, you're gonna be like, oh, so obviously this is what's going on. But I can tell that there's more, you know? Like obviously that twist is gonna be what the twist is, but the twist is gonna have layers that I'm not ready for, and that's what's making me excited. For things I'm not liking, I did think it was going to be heavier on the romantasy elements, but so far we're 200 pages in out of 380 and there is not much focus on the romance at all with the male main character who is gonna be like the love interest. This book falls into the trope of the female main character having a childhood best friend guy slash sort of lover who is like protective of her and like hates the people with magic, and I think that this is such a common trope in fantasy books. I can think of so many series where this is a plot point and it irks me every time because the female main character never ends up with them and they're always just annoying. I'm sorry Henry, that's the guy in this book. I'm sorry, you're annoying. You're annoying. Get out of the way. I don't want to read about you two being together. I want to get to the point where we're talking about her and the actual guy who's going to be the love interest of the whole series. I'm like a little irking because it's like we're 200 pages in. I'm tired of this man. There's only been so little crumbs about the actual male main character who's going to be important to the series, and that's what I want. I want to get there. So it's like the slice of life is both good and bad because I'm really enjoying how much we're getting to know this character and this world, and the world is so interesting and the world building is really well spaced out. I have not felt very overwhelmed about it. But on the other hand, I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to know what's going on. I want to understand what the mysteries are. I want to understand what her powers are, and I want to get Henry out of here so we can get to the real mailman love interest and start going on that rabbit hole, because this is like such a book one in the way that this is almost feels like a prologue. This book feels like a prologue to a much bigger story, because right now it's like the humblest of humble beginnings, and I am itching to get past like the prologue of it all. Does that make sense? Is that tracking? Anyways, it is currently 9 in the morning and I have to leave for work in a few minutes, so I'm going to get ready for that, and then I'm going to update you guys more tonight as I'm reading this. I took a little break reading last week with the new job, but last night I sat down and read like 100 pages and I was locked in, so I'm excited to continue reading this tonight. Good morning, good morrow. Welcome to my living room. I know we don't film out here too often. It's obviously the next day and I have thoughts and feelings. We have things to talk about, okay? Last night I did finish reading Spark of the Everflame, and I didn't vlog because I didn't finish this until like midnight. I think I'm gonna give this book 3.5 stars. Everything I said earlier really remains the same in terms of my opinions about the characters and the point of this book. And I feel like as I finished this book, it really just cemented for me that this is all set up. This entire book was just set up. Even the ending was just set up. There are so many mysteries that you're introduced to in this first book, and you don't get a lot of payoff from them in this book, and they're ongoing, so I know that they're going to be bigger in the rest of the series. And I feel like my feelings are kind of conflicted, because on one hand, I didn't love this, nor did I really hate this. I feel like a twinge of annoyance almost. Like if I had to answer the question, is this book worth the hype? I would say I don't know. I don't know what happens next. This book was so heavy on the setup that it's hard to know if everything that we're introduced to in this world will pay off without reading the second book. So with that in mind, today is Tuesday, and to keep on my filming schedule for this week, this vlog is supposed to end by tomorrow. However, I've made a decision. In order to tell you if Spark of the Everflame is worth the hype, and if this series is worth reading, I feel like I need to read more of it to better understand the direction of the overall series. Because if I can read the whole series and say, hey, yeah, books 2 and 3 are amazing and book 1 set them up perfectly, then I could tell you like, yes, read Spark of the Everflame. But I haven't read the rest of the series yet, and I'm not gonna have time to. I'm gonna make that clear. I do not have time to. I work a 9 to 5. I'm not going to have time to read the entire next book, let alone the next 2 books that are out. But I've decided I'm going to read as much of the second book tonight and tomorrow as I possibly can to conclude if the first book is worth the hype. This is not what I expected for this vlog, but I want to end this with a definitive yes or no. Is the book worth the hype? Not a maybe. Oh, do you mind? Excuse me? Sorry about that. That's his favorite thing right now, is to scratch inside this tunnel. Yep, you going back? Every time I get ready to start talking again, he just keeps doing it. So, the plan. I'm gonna start reading this and I will report back to you on if Spark of the Everflame is worth the hype. Okay, besties, I'm gonna be so for real. It's been multiple weeks since I last spoke to you. I decided to try to start the second book in this series because I wanted to come back and tell you if this series was worth the hype. I got like 50 pages in and I was losing it. This book was going to put me into a reading slump if I didn't stop. I felt so grumpy and aggravated toward these characters. I just did not want to be in this world. I needed a break. I needed to go elsewhere. So I did not read the book. I didn't finish the book. And I am going to go back for it. I do want to keep reading this series, but I just realized that now is not my time. So my final thoughts, is this book worth the hype? Yes, question mark? There were a lot of things I liked about this book that made it an enjoyable read. And it's a very, very, very promising start to the series, and everyone I've spoken to has said that the rest of the books get a lot better. So in my opinion, like, yeah, I would say this book is worth the read, especially if you are okay investing your time in a multi-book series and knowing that the first book isn't going to be the peak of the series. So I'd say, yeah, this book is worth your time and hype. If you aren't the type of person that is fine getting through an iffy book to get through the rest of the series that gets better, then you're probably not going to like this book, and it probably won't be for you. Some people have that opinion. That's fine. I am looking forward to reading the next books in the series, and I'm sure I will at some point because I really loved the world. I thought the characters were interesting, and I'm excited to see where the romance goes. I just couldn't do it right now. I'm not gonna lie. I couldn't do it right now. I'm sorry. I'm a mood reader and it wasn't the mood I was in, and I was going to put myself into a slump if I kept trying to force myself into that book. In conclusion, is Spark of the Everflame worth the hype? Yes, question mark. If you watched the end of the video, thank you so much for being here. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, all that sort of stuff. I try to post videos once a week on Mondays. Fingers crossed on that one. Stick around if you want. I like to do reading vlogs like this, like the Are They Worth the Hype? I do lifestyle content, I do bookish content, all that sort of stuff. You can always find me on TikTok and Instagram, linked in the description. I post on there a lot more often, and I hope you're doing well. Thanks for being here. Okay, bye!